Director of Gift Planning at Western Carolina University, where he has raised over $12 million over the last 2 years during the Lead the Way campaign via major and planned gifts. I hope Western knows how lucky they are to have him doing that. Herb earned his certified fundraising executive credentials in 1995, and he is also the proud father of 2 sons. So I'm going to turn the program over to Herb to talk about increasing your ROI with the 3-part ask.
Thank you, Amanda. I hope this is not a repeat for, it may be for some of you if you were at PI last year, but the year before. At any rate, I want to talk to you about how you can increase your return on your investments. First thing I'd like to do is to find out what our audience looks like here. So let me find out how many of you are annual giving directors? Give me a show of hands. Annual giving, okay. A solo major gift officer, okay. How about one of many major gift officers, okay. What about a major gift officer serving multiple foundations within your organization? Any of those? Okay. Wow. Okay. Assistant Vice Chancellor, Associate Vice Chancellor, or Vice Chancellor? Okay. Yes. All right. How about volunteers? Did I miss any categories? Executive directors. Yes. Executive directors. We got several. That's right. Thank you. Okay. Excellent. Well, someone approached me not long ago and they said, how long have you been in the fundraising business? And I told them 37 years, and you know, I tried to give them an idea of things were different 37 years ago when I got into the field. You know, I was approached by the president of the local hospital when I was tailoring his suit at a retail store. That was my first job out of college. Well, actually, the first one was teaching tennis in New Hampshire, but my first steady job. You know, when you go back to school, you think, you know, I got to be doing something other than, you know, summer camp job. So I'm tailoring this guy's suit, and he saw something, as he said, I saw something special in you, is the way he said it. I've never figured out what that is. But I'm here to say that no matter who you are, if you're in the fundraising business, you too have that something special that your organization has recognized within you that makes you a successful fundraiser. So, for example, you remember the big hair days in bow ties? Okay. Well, some of you may, if you're old enough. It's hard to believe that this kid broke any records other than his mother's Neil Diamond LPs. I was before I was 24, I was a successful Electrolux salesman. I was a Unicom director for a local municipal airport. And I eventually Forrest Gumped my way to an executive director position at the Pitt Memorial Hospital Foundation. I worked with an attorney to create a new foundation that was brand new, and I guess they saw something in me that said, hey, I think he can do the job. So they paid me $9,500 a year. That's not in my notes. Just so you know, you got to start somewhere, right? Back then, $9,500 was not bad, but my colleagues were making 16. Some of them were pharmaceutical reps making 24 plus a car. My mother was thrilled when I came home and said I had a white collar job. She just was glad I wasn't going to be digging ditches somewhere. So, you know, there's a lot of salesmanship in me, and I think it is in all of us, or we wouldn't be in this position. So, speaking of salesmen, as you attempt to make donor visits, have you ever felt like the proverbial third salesman that's knocking on the door and you get the door slammed in your face? I think we've all had that. We have to find some way to recharge our batteries, right? Because we do get run down. We're constantly being told no. But just remember, no doesn't mean no forever. It just means no right now. Or maybe you didn't ask for the right amount, or maybe at the right time, for the right purpose. So we'll get into that. So if you want to avoid the third salesman syndrome, we must live and die by contact reports, right? Contact reports and colleague conversation. So I expect this early in my fundraising career, I had a conversation with a gentleman who was very candid, he was very close to the vest, and he confided in me that some of our other constituents, my colleagues, had come to call on him, asking for a gift to the organization. And so he began to explain to me that less than a year ago, the annual fund director came and asked him for an annual gift. And he was increasing his gift. So he increased it, and the annual fund director came home satisfied, came back to the office, and a few months later, one of our major gift officers went to call him to ask him to support a specific area of interest that they were assigned to raise money for. And again, he said, I stepped up to the plate and I made the major gift that was being asked for. And he said, and now you're on my doorstep asking me for a planned gift. He said, you know, why can't y'all just send one person out here, save the time, save the money, and give me the cafeteria plan? Just spell it out for me. Tell me what my options are. Yes, we want you to make an annual gift, first and foremost. That's the lifeblood of our organization. We need that annual gift. We need the support. And every one of our major gift officers should be asking for the annual gift before they ask for the major gift if they're calling on someone and that's not been done so far. Likewise, the major gift officer should be asking for, the annual fund director is asking for annual gift and maybe can plant the seed for a major gift. The major gift officer that would be calling on them, if they're calling solo, should ask for the annual. The same with the plan giving officer. It should be an annual gift first and foremost. Get them on board. Then let's talk about their specialty areas of interest. So you should be listening to find out exactly what it is that's going to create the passion. You know, everybody's going to give the most amount to the area that they feel most passionate about. So you need to find out what that is. We'll get into that in just a minute. So along of this story is, this gentleman said, you know, if you just give me the cafeteria plan, I could have picked and choose, you know, how I wanted to support your organization instead of feeling nickel and dimed, is what he said. Nickel and dimed. And he said, furthermore, now that you've talked to me about gift planning options, he said, you know, if you just told me about the Charitable League Trust in the first place, I could have accomplished all three of those with assets that I've been giving you. You know, I've been nickel and diming my assets instead of, I could have put the whole thing in one, you know, one trust and enabled myself and your organization to become winners in the situation. So what do you do to avoid the third salesman syndrome? You know, the lack of contact reports. If you go out following someone else and they haven't done the contact report, or they're following you, and you don't record what your conversation was, you know, it's garbage in, garbage out, as they say. You're only as good as the weakest link. So your contact reports, you know, we live and die by them. You have to do them. The lack of briefing between colleagues. If someone else has seen them last, then you need to schedule a time with them and say, I see your contact report. Any other nuances that I need to know about? And, you know, their health is okay. What do I need to know before I walk in? And is there a strategy? Have we already developed a strategy through our prospect management to determine what we need to be talking about? So, and here we are with the nickel and diming, which I shared with you. So additionally, a sense of poor coordination, waste of time. As I mentioned, you know, that every man for himself mentality doesn't bode very well for the organization. It doesn't make you look good, it doesn't make your colleague look good, and you know, in the end, the donor loses some trust with the organization if we're not communicating with each other. So the synergy and consistent messaging perceived by the donor can spell the difference between feeling special or being taken advantage of. Sorry, that one didn't make it onto the screen here.
And everybody, if you can't see the slides, don't be concerned. We have copies.
So let's talk about some of the challenges, some of the missed opportunities. So these are just a few of the things that I've identified that, for me at least, you know, the know-how is very important. We'll talk about Dudley Clement Stone in a minute. And one of the key factors is know-how. So find out what your blind spots are. You know, maybe you're terrific at annual giving and you know how to ask for the annual fund gift. But maybe you don't know how to segue the conversation from an annual giving conversation to a major giving conversation or to a planned giving conversation. Find out what your weak spots are. Maybe it's scholarship. Maybe it's endowment and investment. You know, donors asking all these questions, they want you to be informed. You need to tell them something that they can't read in the newsletter or get off the website. That's what makes them feel special, right? So, failure to utilize mentorship opportunities. Fern McCrimmon has just offered, we've got plenty of folks here that want to help you. If you're sitting back and thinking, I'll get to it next month. Trust me, engage yourself. You will benefit from it. And we as mentors, we benefit from it too because we get to hear your story. We get to hear how you do things differently. We don't know all the answers, but so we're sharing. This is colleague sharing here. So failure to learn collaboratively from team members. And so the results are that the organization suffers needlessly and oftentimes dramatically as a result of us missing these steps. If you guys can't see, you're welcome to pull your chairs out in a, okay. So some of the solutions, the three-part ask that we should consider are identify and filling your missing skill sets with a major gift or planned giving training using the development process. We're going to get to that next. The solicit staff leadership support and oversight. As you'll see in just a minute, without leadership, without your leadership paving the way and creating the atmosphere for this type of collegial exchange of communication, the organization is doomed to fail because you're only as strong as your weakest link again. Pursue the mentorships outside of your organization. You know, this is one of those. Coordinate team strategy sessions on every donor prospect using the three-part ask. Do you have a prospect management meeting? If you don't, you should. If you're the solo development officer, you should go down your top list of your fundraising candidates, prospects, and you should develop a special strategy for each and every donor that you're going to be calling on. Because if you're not, then you're just going out willy-nilly, have a conversation with them, chew some food, listen to them, try to find out what jazzes them, but you're not strategically trying to move them from one place to another. So find out where they are, and then it's your job to fill in what their interests are, how to get there. So the cultivation and stewardship of the donor relationship using the development process is critical. And here's what I'm talking about. If you started at the 12 o'clock and you put the 6 I's in, theoretically, you've got to identify who are my top donors that I'm going to go after. And back to the strategic planning initiative. What are their specific interests? Do I know why are they passionate about our organization? What jazzes them? And then, based on that information, feed them what they want to know about that specific thing. They may not have any interest in your arts council. Maybe they're a sports fanatic. Maybe they're, you know, they want to know about theater. Maybe they want to know about how you transfer blood from one place to another. Whatever it is, you know, find out what their interest is and feed them the information, because that's where their passion lies, and that's where the biggest gift is going to come from, where they're most passionate. So the next I is invite. Invite them to be a part of an event. We have special events all the time. I was telling Amanda earlier, I worked for the American Diabetes Association as statewide director, and I had 13 special events. We raised $1 million every year doing 13 special events throughout the state. If we didn't invite people to come and be a part of those while we're in their area, it's a huge missed opportunity, because the next one is what we're trying to get is their involvement. We want them to be involved. We want them to take ownership of what it is that they're so interested in, passionate about. So at some point, they're going to get to the 6 o'clock, so to speak, metaphorically, and they're going to either identify, hey, I see a need in your organization. Why don't y'all have this? You know, I'm already involved. I see there's a need for this. Why haven't y'all done this? Well, they're ding, ding, ding. They're telling you they are interested in the thing that they've been involved in, and they are ready to make an investment. So if you're not asking them, sometimes even by default, they'll say, hey, I'd like to give you $1,000 towards it. Let's get on with that program. Let's get that done. So let's not wait for the donor to take the initiative. If they're taking the initiative, then you've let them off too easy. It's almost like a go-away gift. I like this. I know you've been courting me for a long time. Here's $1,000. Now go away. Just don't bother me anymore. We don't want that. We want them to be. If you're not asking for enough, if you're not getting pushback from your donors, you are not asking for enough money. A person can only be complimented by you asking them for more money than they think, than they think they can get. And a lot of times it's a great icebreaker. You know, you ask somebody for a $10,000 gift, and you know the biggest gift they've ever made to your organization is $1,000. And they're going to start laughing out loud. Yeah, right, $10,000. Well, so now you're just talking about terms. You know, they're not saying no, you just haven't showed them how to get there yet. So, oh, by the way, we have a 5-year pledge plan. That's only $2,000. So you're really only asking for $1,000 more than they're already giving. Oh, well, that breaks it down. Let me see, I think I can do that. Now, after they've made the investment, and made the commitment to make the investment, you want to find 5 ways to thank them. Why 5? Because they're already going to get an acknowledgement letter from the organization, right? That's not a thank you letter. Don't fall for that. That is not a thank you. That's an acknowledgement letter. That says, okay, out the door in 24, as we say. If you don't get an acknowledgement letter ASAP, then they say, oh, okay, they either lost my gift, they don't care, or maybe I sent it to the wrong place. You know, I had in case in point when I worked at the hospital, the first job I worked in, the receptionist answered the phone. A donor who said, I want to make a donation. You know, that phone call went to 7 different departments before it got to the advancement office. It went to the blood bank, it went to the kidney foundation, it went to the eye bank, it went to the body farm. We went to body farm, okay? And finally, the person got back to the reception and said, look, I just want to make a gift. I got some cash here. I'd like to, oh, cash, you want the advancement office. You know, so make sure your people that are answering the phone on the front lines know what you do and what are the buzzwords that donors are calling in to say. Contributions, gifts, whatever it is, they need to be fully aware of how to transfer. Okay, back to the thank you. If I know that Amanda Edwards loves Dachshunds, okay, for example, probably anything about it, but let's suppose that her pet animal is a Dachshund and she just loves Dachshunds, okay? I'm going to CVS or I'm going to Ingles or wherever I can get a card that has a Dachshund on the front of it. Because she's going to get that card and she's going to say, oh, he remembered my little Fifi or whatever the dog's name was, you know? How thoughtful was that? I didn't even know they picked up on that kind of stuff, okay? That's a unique thank you. So you got 4 other things. You've got to find 4 other ways. Maybe it's inviting them to a special event to be the VIP, to be an honorary person. Maybe it's dinner with your president or your executive director or your, you know, somebody special, something that they don't normally do. That's a thank you. That's a real special thank you. So now the next thing on this pendulum, you've got to thank you. We want to get to the return on the investment or reporting. Now, a lot of people say, well, we generate an annual, we get an annual report out to everybody and tell them what we do. That's not enough. Remember, you're courting people for specific reasons, and they're not the dime a dozen. You've only got maybe 100 people. I'm just throwing a number out there. It might be larger, it might be smaller. That you have the time to cultivate their interest. Okay, so when you report back to them what their $10,000 gift purchased last year, they can read your newsletter. They can go on the website and see what the organization is doing. What they want is a specific note with the dots on it, maybe. I don't know, whatever is pertinent for your organization. But give them a specific note. Specifically, your $10,000 gift changed lives in our organization. That's what people want to do. They want to change lives. So unless you can show them what that $10,000 did this year to change lives, you've lost them next year. They're, what's the term, last year but not this year?
Live.
Yeah, you're a live. Yeah, you're a live. I should know that. Okay, and so the next step of this clock phase, metaphorically speaking, is assessment. So since I asked Amanda to support scholarships this year because I knew she was interested in scholarships at our organization, and now she's gone through and she's made the investment. I've thanked her. I've reported back to her the students' names. I've invited her to participate in a lunch to meet her scholarship recipient. That's another way of thank you and inviting and involving. So now I'm going to assess. Our next campaign may not be a scholarship campaign, which is what we have going on at Western Carolina University, by the way. It may be a capital campaign, or it may be an endowment campaign, or it may be a program support campaign. So I'm going to assess, is Amanda one of those people that we might include in our next campaign as a lead gift? If so, I'm going back to, I've identified her to be a part of this next campaign initiative because her interests are not only in scholarship, but maybe they're also in athletics. Maybe they're also in programmatic support. Whatever it happens to be, if that's what the next campaign initiative is, let's call it bringing your donors forward. Because if you go through this cycle with them and you leave them flat, and you don't, the next year, you leave them flat, you're going to have a hard time going back and cultivating them. You've got to steward that person and find out what are you still meeting their interests? Are you still meeting the needs of their specific personal interests? The next part of this is this is the one I use with my major gift officers all the time, is the inclination and capacity. Okay, how much do they love us? If they don't love us very much, but they got tons of money, well, you're spending a whole lot of time chasing something you're probably not going to get. On the other hand, if they love you tremendously, but they don't have quite the capacity, and you've only got 100 people you can see, maybe they're not making the cut on your specific donor list of people you're going to be cultivating this year. So you've got to be very prudent about making sure, as I say, look at it this way. You've got if you chart this on a graph, inclination and capacity. And you want to be right here in that, right in the crosshairs, right in the concentric circle. So, if given a choice, would I rather have a very wealthy person who doesn't really know our organization versus someone who knows our organization a lot but may not have the capacity? I'm going for the person who loves us. Because I'm not going to spend all my time trying to get somebody who, they may never come around, and I've spent my wheels doing it. I know at least the person who loves me, they may not have the capacity, but they, first of all, they're probably going to be making a consistent annual gift all the time. Secondly, they may not be able to make a major gift right now, but maybe that major gift is actually a planned gift. So when I'm looking for planned giving prospects, I want I'd rather have the little guy, the widow or the widower who's been giving us a $25 check every year, December the 4th, without fail, every single year for 25 years, we've gotten a $25 check from them. They're going on my top list. They love us. Why would they write a check every year for the same amount? You know, they're your best prospects for planned giving donors. And look, back to this and to the metaphor here. Here's what this is, the top of this metaphor. When we're talking about annual giving, that's what we see. We see the surface. You think about it. If somebody comes to you and says, I'm selling Girl Scout cookies, would you buy a couple of boxes? And you're reaching in your wallet or checking your pocketbook. What do you have discretionary that you can give to this charity? You may not even want the cookies. Maybe it's, you know, throwing money in the kettle, Salvation Army, or whatever it is. That's discretionary income. That's impulsive. That's how we get acquisition. But after that, then you're looking at. So if you ask for a major gift, so that they're saying, well, you stepped it up now. You're not asking me for just $100 or $250 a year. You're asking me for whatever a major gift is at your organization. Maybe it's $5,000, maybe it's $10,000. At Western, it's $25,000 minimum. So, you know, if I ask you for $25,000, you're not checking your pocket to see if you got $25,000 there. You're now looking at, oh, let me get my checkbook out. Let me see. Let me think about that. We got to go home. I got a budget. I'll see if I can make that gift work for it this year. Let's call. So you got to follow up with them, okay? Now, if I'm asking you for something bigger than a major gift, we're talking about a planned gift and a state gift. This is where most people keep their assets, right? Below the surface of the water. They don't have it in their pocketbook. It's not even in their checking account. It's in long-term investments. It's in their home. It's in their vacation property. It's in their IRD assets. That's tax-deferred plans. So that's the gold nugget right there. But unless you're asking the question, you're never going to get below the surface, rather than, you know, the small pocket change that they want to just give you and send you away. Don't accept. I mean, you could actually say, you know, thank you for that, but we really would like you to consider stepping up to the next level, and perhaps you'd be willing to. We don't want to say no to that. However, we'd like to talk with you further about the possibility of making a substantial gift, a major gift, which is usually about 10 times the size of their annual gift. Usually. Sometimes larger, sometimes smaller. Okay, so W. Clement Stone said, and this is where I set 2 national sales records selling insurance door to door. I use these 3 principles: activity knowledge, know-how, and inspiration to action. So activity knowledge is what you get out of a book. You know, you get it out of a manual. We go to college, we read the books, and we give the tests, and that's activity knowledge. It's not till you get on the job that you learn how to actually apply the knowledge, right? You got to figure this process is this. Oh, I see how this fits in. Yeah, oh, I'm supposed to do this to make that go. And then the inspiration to action. You got to jazz yourself. You know, I had a supervisor who said, if you're not enthusiastic, then fake it. He said, even false enthusiasm breeds enthusiasm. That's what he used to say. So I can't disagree with him. So here we have the 3 pillars: the annual, the major, and the planned giving. And we covered this a little bit, but it's worth saying again. A lot of us are in silos. You know, we got our blinders on, and we've got we have specific performance evaluations we've got to meet. We've got goals that have to be met. So we're not concerned about helping our colleagues. Hey, it's all we can do to just get through ours, you know, get to the end of the year. So here are some of the mistakes that we need to avoid in the silos. The inability to articulate your organization's total need for operational, capital, and endowed support. Now, hold that thought. If it's somebody that's already close to you, they love you, and they already know all this stuff, on the one hand, don't make the assumption that they know this. You can never go wrong with repeating your mission. And it should be on the front page of your website. If it's not, do it today. You got to get your mission on the front page. At the same time, you need to be able to listen to them, and they already know this information, so tell them what they need to tell them. You need to listen to what they're saying. What is it? Back to interest. What are their interests? Are you feeding them information? What feedback are they giving you from it? Mistake number 2, asking for only a gift in your area, leaving chips on the table. It's just like the first thing I was talking about, where the annual giving director comes in, makes the annual gift, and didn't talk about a major gift or a planned gift, or the major gift officer who comes in and forgets about the annual gift, assuming that's taken care of, and doesn't talk about the planned giving option that they may have heard somebody say, well, I can't do it right now. Ding, 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 what about later? Hello? Okay. So mistake number 3, maximizing expenses and minimizing result. Your organization will be proud of the fact that you've thought through the strategy that's needed for each of these people, and maybe you need to couple the annual fund director and the planned giving officer to go make the call. Yeah, it may cost you a little bit more, but the important thing is the donor may say, well, man, I must be really important. Y'all sent 2 people out here to talk to me about this. It may cost more, but if you've got 2 different people or 3 different officers going throughout the year to go run out there, but you're saving money by driving 1 car. I mean, just simple math to get there. And plus, I always learn more from my colleagues. I may be getting ahead of myself, but I learn every time I partner with somebody else. I learn more about their area, and they learn more about planned giving. So it's a win-win situation. The donor gets the best of both worlds, right? Mistake number 4, inability to employ a comprehensive approach. So this is something that if you're not, you're not strategizing, and if you've got a prospect management team, all the cards ought to be on the table. I mean, from the top down, from the chancellor or the president or the executive director, if they're making contacts on donors, there should be a contact report. It should be confidentially discussed among all your fundraising people, because if they see them at a cocktail party, if socially they see them out somewhere, they don't have to say that, oh, I understand you and the chancellor had a conversation, or you and the president had a conversation. You just need to, maybe you could encourage them in the specific area of their interest without tipping your hat that they've already had a conversation with them. So you're helping your team by reinforcing something that you want to them to be thinking about in furthering their interest. So now here's an interesting thing. I went to pull the classified ads to find out, each of us, as I'm talking about this 3-part ask, what I'm talking about is we all need to be gift planners. And it doesn't matter what annual, major, plan, we're all gift planners. And if you don't recognize that, I want to turn your attention to this. It's a classified ad. Charities are encouraging us to become gift planners. So out of these ads, 51% of them were directors of development or related titles. So they're advertising for a gift planner, for planned giving experience. But 51% were director of development. 12 were executive director, CEO, or related titles that included gift planning responsibilities. 10% included planned giving or gift planning in the title. And one of those was director of plan and annual giving. 7% major gift officers. One was a director of major and planned giving. 19% miscellaneous and other positions that included gift planning duties. Now, this next thing is for those of you who can't see this, I'm going to read it, pardon me. But here's the PPP, a Partnership for Philanthropic Planning's definition of gift planning. Uses a variety of financial tools and techniques for giving, requires the assistance of 1 or more qualified specialists, utilizes tax incentives to encourage charitable giving when appropriate, covers the full spectrum of generosity by individuals and institutions, is based on powerful traditions of giving in the United States. The techniques of charitable gift planning include both revocable and irrevocable arrangements, gifts available for use at the time they are given, and gifts that may not be available until a future date, and a split interest gift intended to balance financial, personal, and charitable objectives. Donors should seek charitable gift planning advice from professionals with integrity, expertise, and experience in law, investments, property, tax, and charitable transfers in order to assure both the technical merits of the transfer and the philanthropic quality of the gift. Whew, good gosh. You don't have to remember all of that. Look, all you have to do is remember this one thing. If you want to write this down, this is platinum. All you have to do is ask them, have you already, or would you consider naming our organization in your estate plans? That's all you have to say. It's either yes or no. If it's no, it doesn't mean no forever, it just means no right now. And so if they say yes, boom, you've landed a big gift, and now it's just a matter of getting disclosure and finding out what the terms are. So Kevin Johnson said that the key to getting this three-part ask incentive put in place, he called it something else, but is staff collaboration, which we've talked about. And only the leadership can ensure they set the tone, right? They set the culture of your organization. So if they're not buying into this, they set the expectations for short and long-term goals. If leadership mandates that the major gift officers work with the plan giving officers in tandem to do a certain amount of calls together, then it fosters a balance, camaraderie, and it prevents a competitive environment. So, for example, if you go with another officer and you guys land a gift collectively, your leadership should make sure that you both share in credit, right? It's not just one. If it was a planned gift and I had my annual giving officer with me, they asked for the annual gift too. They were part of the ask. Shouldn't I be sharing my credit, even though it's an estate gift? They were with me on the contact. They should be part of the credit. So I don't know that a lot of organizations do that, but I think that's what leadership can do to create the culture that we're talking about. So insist upon the cross-pollination. Again, when folks, they say two heads are always better than one, right? So if we're working together, we can put the pieces to the puzzle together. How we doing on time? 5 minutes. So here's some of the benefits of partnering. We talked about some of this. Learn more about your colleges and departments or other aspects of your corporation or the organization. They want to know more about gift planning. Folks like Julie and I who do plan giving specifically, our major gift officers are learning about gift planning techniques and conversation by going with us, and we're learning more about their specific areas that they represent, college bars and sciences, sports, whatever it happens to be. Donors get specific information about their area of interest and learn options for how to support their areas of interest, both now and with future interest gifts. And then the donor feels like they must be a VIP because we sent more than one person to talk to them. And so in short, the cross-pollination occurs and everybody benefits. So here's what a successful donor visit perhaps looks like. And I've emphasized this one because research, research, research. 95% of what we do is researching, finding out what we need to know before we pick up the phone and make the call to set up the visit. So find out what their areas of interest are, their history, consistency. If it's spotty, why is it spotty? Maybe you got some fences to mend. Some of the biggest gifts I've ever landed were people that I went to who were mad about something that somebody did in our organization 15 or 20 years ago that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're asking them to support right now. So you have to just, peel the scab off, so to speak, and let them vent. Let it fester. Just get it off their chest. And then you bring them around by saying, you're not going to withdraw your support of our students because of an administrative decision that was made 15 years ago in the 125-year history of our organization. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I got you. So then now they're coming back around. You got to find out how to mend those fences, and you'll pick up on it as you're talking to them. Consistency indicates that higher inclination, as we talked about. $25 check every year. That's the person I want because we know they're passionate about something that they're giving $25 to every single year. If the donors assigned collaborate with the major gift officer, they usually know more about that donor and their interest than you know. You need to find out from them, coordinate with them. You're going to make an ask for such and such, and work together on it.
And I'll say again, emphasize the peace of mind. I always say, you go to an estate planning attorney to plan your estate, you go to a financial advisor to plan your finances. Why don't you go to a gift planner to plan your philanthropy? Doesn't that make sense? We're not attorneys, we're not CPAs. There's my disclaimer. We're just giving advice. We can make suggestions. We're giving suggestions. We can't make advice. Give advice. So if the donor is interested in perpetuating, and I get a lot of you annual giving directors that raise your hand. We have on our annual giving write-in, do they want to perpetuate their annual gift? And if they check that box, I get ding, 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 hey, here's a hot one. Call this person, talk to them about how to perpetuate the gift. In case in point, this past week, I went to talk to one of our faculty members who said they want to perpetuate their gift, and they're making a $25,000 gift to support scholarship because they wanted to perpetuate. So their largest gift was $25, one time, ever. That's all they did. But they checked that box on the annual giving that said they wanted to perpetuate their gift. Okay, we're getting to the end here. All right, so here's some of the ways you can maximize the gift. You want to build the trust relationship. Find the 5 ways. While you're finding 5 ways to thank them, you're going to be building trust. You want to tell them what was the ROI on the gift they already gave you. And how is that going to determine whether they're going to be involved in the next campaign. So understanding the donor's intention is critical. Back to the interest. You know their interest. Now what are their intentions? How have you given them a target to shoot at? Have you told them how, if they reach that target, lives will be changed? So you've got to, don't concentrate on how much the gift is you're asking for. Concentrate on the impact that they're going to be able to make at your organization. And then having the actual dollar amount is an easier sell because they've bought into the idea. They've taken ownership of changing lives at your organization. So listen for these buzzwords. If somebody says, I'd love to support you, but I'm just land poor. Ding, ding, ding. They got a farm. They've got land somewhere. Back to the iceberg metaphor. It's a big nugget down there under the water that they're talking about, perhaps. Maybe they own, rental properties that could be converted into a charitable lead trust. Maybe they own a vacation property they want to leave you as a retained life estate at the end of their lifetime. So finesse the options. Listen to what they're saying and try to finesse the options. If you don't know, call me. Call any of us mentors. We can help you with those kind of things. All you need to do is listen. You hear something that sounds, hey, they said they want to help us, but apparently they don't know how. Well, find somebody else that can help you interpret that conversation and get a strategy and get partnered with people who can. Gauge the donor's timing for discussion and execution. Maybe they say, it's a bad time, health problems, can you see us in 6 months? We're just, you don't want to get called on a widow right after her husband's been buried and talk to her about an estate plan. That's just not good timing. It's just, that common sense. But that's what I'm talking about. Figure out what's going on in their life and find out what's the best timing for you to have the conversations. And follow up with the plan giving options that you may see. So in summary, each of us bring that something special. We want to achieve the balance of knowledge and practice, the know-how in the areas of specialty to avoid the missed opportunities and working on your weaknesses. You want to know your donor. You want continuing education. This is a fabulous place to get continuing education. If you're not already a member, you want to see Holly or Sharon. If you're looking for perhaps taking the next step and you want a certified fundraising executive credential, you want to see Mandy. You can probably see any one of us board members about that. Mandy's not here today, but Mandy Pierce is our CFRE chair. And let's see, training, and Fern is our mentor chair. If you want to get hooked up with somebody that might be able to help you further, Fern is the gal that can help you with that. Avoid the silo effect. And of course we live and die by prospect management, and we want to collaborate with all of our stakeholders within our staff. get your leadership to buy into this notion of the collaborative effort, the three-part ask. Communicate with colleagues with the strategy sessions, contact reports. I don't have to hammer that anymore. Building lasting relationships, encouraging your donors to give them the cafeteria plan, and then execute the three-part ask. Try it, you'll like it. Questions? Questions? We may have time for one or two questions if anybody's got one. Yes, Agnes.
You may not have ever dealt with this. I'll just say one time I solicited Jerry Richardson, who's 6'6" and huge, the owner of the Carolina Panthers. How have you dealt with intimidation over you? You're about to go out and make this. Every time you said to these folks, just put plan giving in it, we're all intimidated up to the gills. How do you deal with intimidation when you find it?
I asked a simple question that everybody here can ask, and that is, have you already, or would you consider naming our organization in your estate plans? They're either going to say yes or no, and if they say, well, not yes or no, but what are you talking about? What are you talking about doing it? Well, then, we get 85% of our gifts and planned gifts through bequests. And most people are less intimidated if they think that if they can make a bequest, they get control of the assets throughout their lifetime. So they're not giving it away, it's not irrevocable. But the biggest thing I find is if I tell them, if I can show you a way to make a gift that won't cost you a dime, there's no legal expense, you get to use it the rest of your life, and you get to direct it at your death to determine whatever it is. Can I get 5 more minutes of your time? Well, sure, yeah. What are you talking about? And the next question is, do you have a tax-deferred plan? Because tax-deferred plans are called IRD assets for short. That's income in respect of a decedent. And IRD assets are unlike any other asset in your portfolio. They don't get a step up in basis at death. So they have a different tax liability. So bottom line is, you're going to give away a third of that asset, more than likely. If you're in a 28% federal and North Carolina's 5.5, roughly a third of it's going to Uncle Sam upon April 15th, following the date of your death. Unless you've got charity listed on the primary line to receive a portion of that. So here's an opportunity, I say to someone like that, there's no legal expenses, you don't have to talk. You go to your plan administrator's website, you download the beneficiary form, talk to your CPA about the rate that you need to apply based on the principle of the rate that was being applicable on the front end will also be applicable on the back end in terms of distribution. That's the rate that you want to leave to charities to zero this out if that's your goal. So most of the time it's the children, they're on the primary line, semicolon, a third of it to the following charities, and you break it down per stirpies or however you want, percentage-wise. That's the way I would do it. That's just one possible solution. Yes?
So I'm new to plan giving and have kind of a story that I'd love to know what you would do next. So I have a guy who I sent out a plan giving story. He replied to me in the mail, said he wants to do a bequest. I gave him the language to put into his will, and he yesterday approved the gift agreement. I asked him what the current day value is, and he said $400,000. He's been giving us $250 a year, so it makes me think he could do a major gift. But I don't know, I want to thank him a bunch, obviously, and get this in really formalized in place, but I feel like maybe I would want to ask him for a scholarship or to start the scholarship before the endowed fund then can build it when he dies, or whatever I would ask for. But I just didn't know if you have a way to kind of build backwards, once they've made the planned gift, how do you get the major gift?
That's a very good question. And the way I would do that is, first of all, in order to include you in our Legacy Society, we require a written courtesy copy of the estate document and a self-evaluation of what the assets are. A lot of times they'll send you the copy of their statement of their IRD asset, and it says $600,000 or whatever, and they got you for 30%, so you know what that amount is. And here's what the reason people say, well, I'm not comfortable doing that. So here's some reasons why you can justify asking them for that.
I already asked him and he's sending that.
He said what?
I already asked him, he's sending that.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah.
But for those of you who are in that position, if you're in a campaign, if it's not in writing, we can't count it in our campaign. So there's number one. Number two, sometimes we can footnote in our audit our expectancies, but we can't document it unless it's irrevocable. So, but how does that help us? Well, as an organization, if we go to borrow money for a construction loan or something like that, and the loan officer says, well, I see you only have $10 million in assets, but oh, you got another $5 million in expectancies, we'll give you a little bit lower rate than, because we know it's only like 5% shrinkage possibly is the average, long average. So that's another reason. And then the third one is that obviously we want to put you in the Legacy Society because your name is an advocacy. Other people are going to see your name and say, well, gosh, they're doing that. Gee, I should have already done it, you know. So then maybe it opens the door for you there. Does that answer your question?
Well, I kind of want to know how you would get he's in his 60s, so how do you, in the next 30 years, get a major gift before that estate?
So you're looking for the target.
Yeah.
What they haven't identified for you is what is their ultimate objective. So you got the scholarship, you know we want to establish a scholarship, but you don't know the impact. So when you show them, let's say in our position it's 5% payout rate, $25,000 Annie is $1,250, $625 a semester. And so when they hear $625 a semester, they're going, that's just barely books or fees. You know, is that really substantial? So you've got to get them to focus not on the 625 per se. You want to get them to focus on what is the impact, the total impact of their gift. Are they trying to create a full scholarship, full ride, which might be, you know, $30,000? And at 5%, most of these people are pretty shrewd business people. They can extrapolate how much 5% is going to get 30. So now they're thinking, oh, that's a bigger, okay, let me think about that. So you've already focused, you're focusing now on the bigger picture, and what I would suggest to you is the testamentary gift is simply going to bolster and possibly get them to the ultimate level that they want to be at to change lives. Does that help?
Yes, thanks.
All right, I think we're out of time. In fact, we're 5 minutes over, or 10 minutes over. So if you have other questions, feel free to come and talk to me or call me at Western. I'm glad to help you. Now, thank you all for coming today, and I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please go on to our Facebook page and put some positive thoughts. You got educational value, because other people who are not members will see that, hey, I'm missing an opportunity. I should be there. Okay, thank you kindly.
Thank you. Next month, Randy Pierce is joining us to talk to us about how to share our impact using stories. So the third Wednesday of May, I think that's the 18th. I hope to see you back here at the Renaissance. Probably not this time.
Can I ask one thing? A lot of us like to know where there are real opportunities for us to improve our bottom line. Graham is bringing something from Sinorama that he should tell everybody, just a little bit about.
Okay.
As we work with both for-profit and non-for-profit, one of the things we try to do always with for-profit is organize companies and organizations. One of the things that people miss a lot of the not-for-profits, you guys really do not talk enough to your corporations and your business partners. So one of them is Sinorama, and they're a local firm. And what we did last year, we actually created, they wanted to give back to the community, but do it in a very structured way. So we built a grant program, a signage grant program. So in other words, everybody here, if you're in West North Carolina, and you're an educator, a charitable fund or trust, or a not-for-profit, you can apply to get a grant. Last year, they issued actually 10 grants. I can't tell you how much the budget was last year, and I won't tell you how much the budget was this year. But last year, what happened was that signs, anything you can think of, car wraps, decals, lots of different things, signage for an event, signage for a play, I'm looking at the Flat Rock Playhouse, and all sorts of stuff. They're the things that you can apply for with them. And then there was actually going to be a big presentation given. It's also a marketing tool that you get for free. Because what happens is with Sinorama, we have a marketing campaign that'll actually tell everybody about all the grants that they gave out and who received them. So it's another plug for your organization that, strangely enough, you don't have to pay for either. All right. And there's going to be a big event. The big event will be at the US Cellular Center, who actually is to be signing around as one of their clients as well. So there will be an event there, again, where people will be invited, the community, the newspaper, et cetera, to talk about it. So even if you don't get a grant, if you're a runner-up, you'll also be mentioned. So I would highly recommend that you go online or grab, there's a whole stack of these, grab this, go away. If you're interested, apply and find out. And as I said, we had all sorts of organizations do it last year. All right? Again, it's a great way to help.
Everyone have a great day.